right. Machiwa, holy ones. Much respect as we start this transmission, connection to spirit, this tome of frequency, consciousness. Thank you so much for joining me tonight as we talk about Christ consciousness and what that really is. Because from this point of view, the Emerald Order point of view, there's some distortions out there about what that is. And so that's the body of work that we're coming from, the freedom teachings, also called the innerchristos, law of one. You could say that's another word for Christ consciousness, innerchristos. But Christ consciousness specifically references a level of consciousness out of many levels. And specifically, that would be the 12th dimensional level of consciousness. Now, a lot of you following these teachings, you know that there's 15 dimensions. So yes, there's 3 other levels above 12D. So 12D, the 12th dimension, Christ consciousness, is actually a level that is buried in our dormant DNA. So as we go on a spiritual journey, we are activating that potential within ourselves. And so that's what we're actually going through in the human drama. And we talk about how this drama is actually a spiritual bondage. You know, it's like a intruder races, negative alien agendas that you also called fallen angels. They don't want us to waken up our 12D Christ consciousness, the Christos. The name of this channel, Christos Avatar, is your 12D, 12th dimensional Christ consciousness. You could just call it Christos. That is what is the Christos. And I see some distortions out there saying that Christos is some oil in your brain or something going through, and it's nonsense, you guys. The original reference is coming from the, 12D, 13, 14, 15D guardians. Not from some earth distortions in New Age, or not even just New Age. Some people are trying to explain it from an occult point of view. Christos oil. You guys, Christos is not some freaking oil. It's not something you can look at in your anatomy, biology. It is frequency, spirit, consciousness, a high dimensional consciousness. And so that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Thank you guys for joining us here on this live. And thank you for spending your time with us on a Tuesday night. We come together on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Around there. Sometimes I'm late. I apologize about that. Also Saturday, Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. So I thank you guys very much for coming together, holding space. And I want to give a shout out to my moderators, Indigo Wizard, Starman, Mr. Mandism, Stardust Goddess, Celine. I hope she's here tonight. And also Sarah Holder. And those are our main moderators. And there's always going to be a couple here because sometimes this information, such as Christ consciousness, is going to trigger maybe some religious people or hate or aggression or negativity. My question is, isn't your religion supposed to, transition you into a better person? Are you even acting and behaving and speaking like Jesus, so to speak, right? So, right? So, but they're going to go into that distortion of into that. I mean, it's not as extreme as Metatronic, but it is a form of the dark side and shadow. So we are on a spiritual journey trying to transmute the shadow in our life. You know, people call it shadow work. That means you're focusing on your thoughts, your thinking, and catching yourself, correcting yourself lovingly. Self-love, baby. Respect, self-respect, right? So, and every time that happens, every time you slip up, you have those thoughts that are anti-Christos or even just negative. We catch those. That's shadow work. Correcting yourself until you don't have to correct yourself. I mean, you're trying to be a better person. You're trying to walk within Christos consciousness, Christ consciousness. You're trying to behave, speak. Okay? So, and by the way, the 12D Christ consciousness, the innerchristos, is at the same level as your divine blueprint. So all life is based on an energy template called the divine blueprint. Like a DNA template of your original prototype angelic human. Because we're not angelic down here because we fell. We're in a state of distortion from our original 5D Tara self. And so we're trying to reawaken to that, re-remember that. A lot of us are. And, you know, some of those identities we had in Atlantis, in Lemuria, Hyperborea, Polari. And so we are finding those in our dream state, in our meditative state, in our altered states. We are remembering, awakening, transitioning, expanding. After all, that's what is spiritual ascension is about. Expansion of what you are now, becoming a better version of yourself. And I would like to say, plural, selves. We are multidimensional beings. We are collective. We're a collective, multidimensional family of consciousness. And you're just one of those. The Guardian teachings talk about that you have actually 1,728 selves minimum. That's a lot of yous, we's. And so this is your, what the Guardians call personal Christos. I have a personal Christos, brother. You have one too. Sister, you have a personal Christos. We all have a personal Christos, which is that family of 1,728 selves, plural. What is spiritual ascension and identity? It is you reclaiming the lower parts of yourselves back up, you know, return back to source God. Return back to your divine blueprint, your original prototype self, the perfect immortal self. Because when you have 12 strands of DNA, excuse me, you are in you're in your divine blueprint. You are in immortality. And so this is what we're trying to return back to, the Garden of Eden. And that's a real place. That word from religions is based on something real, and that real thing didn't go away. It's in another dimension, another reality. 111 views. 111. Thank you for that synchrony. Thank you for that sign. Blessings. Numbers are code, and we see that rarely when we do the show. Machiwa. So, I don't know about you guys, but I want to return back to the Garden of Eden. And so, this is part of our heritage. It's not something you go through evolution. It's something that you reclaim, reactivate. And now you become what you once were. We're not striving to become something greater. We already are. We're just what happens is you fall from that original state. It's always there, but in a blocked, it's being blocked. The frequency, the connection, the route to those higher strands is blocked, literally, from something called a DNA block or mutations in your DNA. And so this is talked about also actually in Voyagers. They talk about a lot of different blocks. There's the Axios block, the Zeta block. There's different DNA blocks. Even the Guardians have put blocks. That's only because in the hybridization, the huge hybridization, genetic hybridization project, humans were falling into distortion, and there was a time where we could affect other dimensions, other planets, other life forms. So the Guardians had to block that. So that distorted part of ourselves wasn't going to go and affect others. We have to be responsible for ourselves. We are the Guardians. They're not doing something to us. Those higher versions of ourselves are the ones who are the Guardians. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Let me say hello. This is a live broadcast. Let me say hello to all the present homies in the house. UTD, blessings, Holy One. Much respect to you. Thank you guys, all those 4 in a row. 4 people in a row who have that year annual star, been members and supporting this work for a whole year. Thank you guys. Bless you. Appreciate you very, very much. Leo Murray, Celine, and also Indigo Wizard, my Chihuahua, brothers and sisters of light. Yeah, my chicas, my sutas. Partey, Indigos, give me 5. We got this. Awakening on planet Earth, finding our mission, finding our record. There I am. There we are, coming down, reincarnating. What's up, holy wands? Free white dove in the house, my Chihuahua star sister. Much respect to you. Thank you also for supporting this work, being a member there. My Chihuahua sister. We got Major Arcana in the house. Hey. Divine Thought. Wow. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Divine Thought. Bless you. Thank you for being part of this energy. My Chihuahua. Sarah, my Chihuahua Anohazi. Happy to see you too, sister. Big hugs. Greetings. All right. We got our team coming together. Yeah. Organizing. Oh, Major, thank you for that. Yeah, I wanted to try a different background. I've done it before, but not as often. And last week was definitely a unique one, too. I'm going to try some unique ones. I have a favorite one, and I'll use that mostly. But honestly, when I have time, I need to make a bunch of new ones. I just been so busy, it's at the end of my list or something, Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. I noticed it's a little bit not as bright as it usually is, but that makes an excellent contrast with me. Like I'm like well lit now, so it looks cool. Thank you for that. Glow in the dark in the house. Woohoo! What's up, homie? Thank you for being a member. Also, Gina Sutton, Star Sister, give me a hug. Woohoo! Superstar. Oh, Gina, are you going to go to the Contact in the Desert? I'm going to be there, but I don't know if I'm going to be there Thursday because the person who's helping me out is telling me they may not be there on time. So, okay, I'm relying on them, but I'm so grateful that I'm even able to go. But are you going to go, sister? That'd be great to see you again. I'm talking about especially my homies who live in California because it's in Indian Wells. So bless you, sister. Good to see you. Hello, hello. Star Child 369. Machiwa holy ones. Much love, respect, and blessings. Thank you for that strong, powerful, positive vibes, brother. Yeah, that's what we like around this house. Damaged healer, hello all to you, Holy One. Yeah, we got this, fam. Little goddess, hi, Machiwa, to you, sister. Warren B, Machiwa, beautiful souls. Paul, 11:25 a.m. Oh, Australia, that's why. Is that the same for you, Mr. Medism? You guys in the same zip code, so to speak? Wow, good morning to you, Paul. Welcome to our broadcast here in good old USA. Indigo Wizard, Machiwa, brother. You guys are awesome and powerful. I got to start this. I got to get this going, you guys. But thank you for being here. If you guys have questions, please tag Christos Avatar TV somewhere in your message, and it becomes highlighted, and your brother Anhazi can see it better. Yeah, raise your Christ consciousness. You said, a Holy One. And so every human being has this Christ conscious potential. Christ, Christos, is not, I say it respectfully, with love, it's not about a man. It's not about a person. Okay, that's part of the false light. That's part of the, you would say, propaganda. It's part of the spiritual bondage that's happening on earth, and I really do mean bondage. That's a contract that you agree to with your own conscious free will based on blood ritual sacrifice. A sacrificed Christ, Messiah, is a message to Christos beings, a message to 12D Anuhazi, 12D innerchristos, 12D divine blueprint. It's an attack on that. This is a black magic sacrifice. And I've talked about that. I talk about the distortions in the Bible and in religions. We talk about Jesus and God here, just not from that point of view. There was a Jesus, for sure. There was also a false one. And there was also a man who was actually the one crucified. His name wasn't Jesus, but he's considered one of the three Christs. Those two are the ones that are the false ones. And that is also talked about in Voyagers 2. What this, tonight's lecture is about. It's based on the Emerald Order teachings, originally spoken, translated from the CDT plates, not from some ancient stone, homie. This is coming from high tech, high dimension, high spirit. And so that's where Jeshua is also even coming from. He's coming from the 12D. He is a Christos avatar, 12D being reincarnated here in ancient days, a few thousand years ago, yes. And so, but he wasn't crucified. Not that just Jesus. The third Jesus I talked to you about, his name wasn't Jesus. I'll show you that since we're talking about Christos, Christ consciousness. I'll show you that in the teachings. Jesus, the real one from the Guardian Alliance, from the Emerald Order, actually came and taught spiritual ascension. He was part of the mystical group called the Essenes, which is actually explained in the teachings that the Essenes are a sub-race that came out of the Atlantean root race. We have root races, smaller sub-races, and smaller, they're called families. Races have within them sub-races, which that's not a bad thing to say. It sounds like it is, but a sub-race just doesn't mean subordinate race or smaller race. It means it's one of the races out of, I forgot how they say it. They might be 5 or 7 different races that build up to make the race, to complete the root race. A root race is completed in stages of sub-races. Those sub-races, that's why it's called a sub-race, because it's one of the family lines that were used to complete the evolution of a root race. And the Essenes come out of that. So does ancient Egyptians, by the way. They're a sub-race of Atlantis. They think Atlantis is gone. Well, there's actually still some islands left of Atlantis. It's called England, Ireland, Wales. I also believe Scotland is part of that. We'll look at that in the teachings tonight. And so let me be hydrated, stay hydrated. Atlantis is a big deal. It's a big chunk of your identity, of our forbidden history, that they don't want you to know, but it's still around, and we are still around. So Atlanteans still are around. And it's part of our incarnations. You have, in Density Universe 1, you live 144 times. Well, some of those 144 selves were incarnated in Atlantis. Probably several lifetimes in Atlantis. Several lifetimes in Lemuria, Mu. Several lifetimes in Polaris, Polarians, and Hyperbornians. And when I say that comment, I get these immature people, the immature 3D people, who are saying, is this Conan lore? Just because Conan mentions the word Hyperbornian, now I'm suddenly connecting it? No, it's not the same thing, homies. Just like people say this, the same low vibe, immature people will say the same thing when I talk about Metatron. They'll say, oh, do you talking about Megatron from Transformers movies, Those are the comments we delete, transmute, put boundaries on. Those kind of vibrations, they have no comments to make about the video, no questions about the video, no counters to the video. All they can do is talk about my appearance or make some stupid comments like that. Those are the ones I block and then delete. They're obviously just trollers, just low vibe people, have no value. They're not offering any value to the conversation. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing. I mean, it's your free will, do whatever you want, but we need to, put strong boundaries around us. Just like why I have moderators is to put strong boundaries on trolls. Because if you guys have been here for a while, you remember we used to be attacked hardcore. And we had to put my chat into slow mode so they couldn't do it. Every time a new troll comes, we put it in slow mode. Then they get tired of being kicked out and can't do what they want to do, right? And I encourage you guys to regularly smudge yourselves. That's what New Age readers call it. I don't call it smudging. I'm not smudging. I'm cleansing with resin, not with sage. Sage is good. I'm not saying anything about sage. I'm just saying I use incense resins. Put it all the way around you. 360, stand over it, put it on the ground and stand over it. Your incense bowl or whatever you have. Something fireproof, something that doesn't get too hot and burns your hands. Some people ask me, where do I get my incense? That would be divineincense.com. I recommend you buy it by the pound. This is a model number of frankincense. Why not buy it by the pound? Less than $20. This will last you a year and a half probably. I use it regularly, so it doesn't last me a year, but thank you guys for being here. Holy Ones, much respect to all of you. I made some notes here, but I want to show you my diagram real quick to explain Christ consciousness, Christos consciousness, the divine blueprint. What is Christ, Christos? It's a level of consciousness. Let me show you visually what that level is. Machiwa. So grateful for all of you being here with us tonight. Let me switch it to my Photoshop. Oh, sorry. All right, so this is the 15-dimensional time matrix, which is God's creation, 1 out of 24 hologram fields. The Guardians call it a hologram. This is a hologram of matter that we exist within. Almost looks like a CD disc, Blu-ray disc. We're on this disc somewhere, and all of these places exist at the same place at the same time. If you're playing a DVD movie, you can have the start on the disc here, fast forward to the disc here. It's all existing in different places at once. Anyways, I like to use that analogy sometimes, but this is God's hologram of matter, 1 out of 24. There's 20. We're the one of the 24. So there's 23 other time matrices. And it's a unified field. It's part of the unified field. That means everything is part of God because it's all unified from one source. That's why we call it sometimes God source. Or source God, God source, or God force. Or just God is fine. You know, whatever you feel resonate. So there we go, Christos avatars, the divine blueprint. Okay, so this is the level. It's a level out of these 12. Now these are called metaterrestrials. Okay, these are the metaterrestrials up here. The first three dimensions, which is called 13, 14, and 15 dimension. This is the universal, because this is a universal system, see, of 5 universes. Well, this is the universal Trinity. This is the cosmic Trinity. So, as you can see, there's 6 levels beyond the Christ. Beyond the Christos, there's 6 more levels. It's not even the highest level. But within the extraterrestrial range, like this is the extraterrestrial range. As you can see, I've made an indication here. It actually includes these 3. You know, we got ETs here too. So this is an explanation or a visual where you can see if we're in the 3rd dimension of Earth, we're in the 3D, D3, dimensions. D stands for dimension. DU stands for density universe. You can also call these holographic universes. This is a holographic universe. The one that we live in is density universe 1, carbon matter. So most humans are here in the 3D, and we're trying to ascend to at least 4 or 5D. But look at this, man. There's Christ consciousness, the Christos is so much higher. But this is where some of us are coming from. Like Jesus was one of these Christos avatars. Some of you are some of these Christos avatars. I know I am because I've seen my levels of myself. I've also seen levels, you know, you have so much consciousness. We mentioned 1,728 minimum. That's a lot of beings. So you're going to be several different races, not just the human race. I remember being an Azurite, a feline, avian, mantis, sedation, pegasi. I remember being Christos, azurite, and I believe emerald orifeme. And notice this is where the indigos are coming from. So no wonder if you consider yourself an indigo, you can also remember your orifeme lifetimes, either orifeme or emerald orifeme. These have up to 48 strands. These are up to 24 strands, I believe. This is why the indigo type 3s have up to 24 strands. These are indigo type 1s and 2s. That's why I believe I'm an emerald orifeme. If you're an indigo child, you're either an orifeme also. You live lives as an emerald orifeme. And I showed you the pictures of what a feline avian or a feline avian cetacean is. And what that is, like oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Look at what an azurite is. Feline comes from blue flame. It gets blurry when I get too close. Avian is gold flame, and so is mantis. So blue flame, gold flame, and the cetacean and pegasi are violet flame. So this is representing DNA from the universal trinity. Blue, gold, and violet flame. That azurite race can heal, they call it a host matrix. It could heal any race, and they were used several times, not just to heal us, but to heal. Their DNA was used to help create the orifeme, I believe. Look, they have some of that, feline avian cetacean, but not feline avian mantis cetacean pegasi. This is a spiritual super badass, azurites. And so I know Ashiana calls herself an azurite. One of her companies was Azurite Temple. Don't forget, notice that Maharaji were created from the azurites, but also some of the orifeme DNA. Blue humans, baby. So this is part of our heritage, part of our identities, part of who you are. You might be dreaming of some of these fantasy beings, not fantasy, real extraterrestrial beings with this amazing DNA. I mean, amazing because most humans only have 3. Let me bring up another diagram. Give me a couple seconds here. Okay, so we have Lemurian. Lemurian was 73,000 years ago, way before what we are now. So they only had 2 strands. They had to complete the 2 strands. So you actually had to live 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's that divine number. 12 is the divine number. You had to live 12 times. So just the fact alone that you're here on Earth with 3 strands. I mean, we're supposed to be having 4 strands, but most of us are still stuck with 3 strands. Well, look, you had the Lemurian DNA. Notice that the Lemurian DNA is within here too. It's in here too. You're going to have it cross into. But anyways, this is a 2-strand. This is a 3-strand. We're talking about DNA strands, specific DNA strands. This is what a 4-strand, but it's only halfway done because most humans haven't finished the 4th strand. So I wanted to show that. Here's a 5-strand. And here's finally a 6-strand. Finally, because this is all of the Earthseed DNA. And just so you know, there's 2 races in the 1st strand, Polarians and Hyperborneans. So that's actually 7 races right here to make the first 6 strands. The rest are starseed races. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Holy cow! I answered a question that I've always had for so long. And now after saying it, I answered my own question. Because there is 12 races, 2 races in the 1st strand, that's where that missing missing race was. I didn't understand. When you take these races, it's going to go into a 12-strand race. When you combine all of them, it's going to be 12 strands. So anyways, well, that I was trying to get to you. What are these other larger races have? Okay, so this is a 12-strand. Look at this freaking 24-strand DNA. So it's like one of these beings. Well, not even this, but it's like one of these beings with twice the amount of DNA strands. These are Anunnaki, but they actually only have 11 strands. Atlanteans, the ones who are in Atlantis and Tara. The Lemurians of Mu, the Council of Mu, some of the Pleiadians and the Ceres and the Urtarinates and the Rock Confederacy Collective. Well, there's much higher beings in density 3. You start getting into 24 strands. Then you start getting into 36 strands, and then, eventually 48 strands. It's freaking super amazing consciousness. And this is one of the reasons I call you guys holy ones. Machiwa. So there was also another, remember, ascension is about DNA. So remember, there's 2 races in strand 1. Polarian race created half of the first strand, and the Hyperboreans created the second half of the strand. So between the 2 of them, they created the strand 1. So there's already 2 races on the first strand. Here's the Lemurians bringing in the third race, creating the second strand. I'm sorry, this is the Lemurians. This is the starseed who was helping the Lemurians. And this is a little bit later, 72,000 years ago. They created the Atlanteans created the third strand. This is the starseed race helping them create the third strand. Remember, the starseeds are helping the earthseeds. And here's the problem here. We're stuck at this. We can't finish it. A lot of races can't finish their 4th strand, so they're stuck in reincarnation. But this is a 4th strand, and this is the 5th strand is coming from the Varian, which is in the future. In Tara. So us, that's the future. The race that comes after us. And then there's a race that comes after them called the Unchachi. They're the ones who finish the 3rd eye strand. So that's 6 strands, 7 races, 7 earthseed races. Combined with the 5 starseed races, you combine all that DNA, it creates the 12 strand. Because this is creating 11.0. 11.1, 11.2, 3, 4, 5, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8, 11.9, 11.10, you have a 12 strand completed. Actually, you're like 11.1, 11.2, maybe it is 12, so you get up to the 12 strand through that last race, which is, let me show a different diagram. The Uniseti. Machiwa. Yeah, so I'm just thinking about how that's one little confusing detail, but you see it all works out. This is a 12 chakras, 12 DNA strands, 12 tribes. That is the Terahertz. That's the name of our original race. That's the name of the angelic humans. Terahertz. Say it with me. Terahertz. And those 12 tribes, these not of Israel, but of the guardian Terahertz angelic human, the 12 tribes make up this incredible race. We're a super hybrid. This is the humans at a super hybrid. That's a Christos avatar, baby. Tonight's topic. This is a full-fledged Christ consciousness. But we lived on Tara with 12 strands. We didn't live in the 12D. We lived in Tara. We lived in Tara in the 5D in the 6D, of course 4D too, but a lot of that experience is inner earth in the 4D. Some of it will be inner earth. So Tara is actually these 3 dimensions. And notice there's also other huge conscious beings like the Azarites also living in density 2 when they have up to 48 strands. I would like to know how that's even possible. What part of this is, you know, let's say you cross the threshold into another higher universe, some of those other strands will activate. When you go back to the lower universe, those strands will go into your DNA. So the potential is there, but they're not going to have all 48 strands activated in the second density. Does that make sense? When you go up, you gain strands. When you go down, they go into dormant state until you go back and return to your higher density. That's how DNA works, baby. And so I can imagine that this Azarite can't have 48 strands in density 2 or density 3 because you would blow it up. That's frequency. That, you know, some people have been electrocuted, right? And it ruined their whole life. We're talking about high, like energy frequency. It would blow up something. So I just want to give you that rundown a little bit on what is the 12D, 12th dimensional Christos consciousness, has a divine blueprint. And we have this 12D potential in 5D, 6D Tara. Thank you guys. Bless you. Holy avatars. Haha, machiwa. Thank you guys. Thank you. We got this. You're not alone. I mean, within your own Christos, inner Christos, you're not alone. You never were, you never will be. Even though sometimes you feel alone, why don't you reach out to your higher selves, your higher family of consciousness? And I know that some of these higher versions of you appear to your 3D self as a spirit guide, as an angel. Think about it. They don't want to frighten you, especially when you don't know all this higher versions of yourself. You don't know some of these higher teachings. If they came to you as some glorious, glowing being, you might freak out. Some of you would be happy and excited, but others would be scared. They don't want to see aliens and angels. What's up, holy ones? G-Light! Thank you so much for being a part of this 6 months, G-Light. Bless you, holy ones, sister. You're awesome. Thank you for being part of this crew. Much respect. She wrote, Omni Christus Love, all oneness. Emerald Order teachings for life. You said it, sister. I love it when you guys are talking those terms, and that we need to be using those terms regularly. Remember, words, especially Christic words, are power. Even saying them several times is like Shaddai Ure Akum Tun. Shaddai Ure Akum Tun. You are activating. You are reinforcing. Okay, not forgetting. Not what was that? You know, you're like constantly like. If you want to for example, if you want to maintain a real physical fit body, you have to maintain it. It takes work. Same with the frequencies and codes and terms and words, the positive, powerful spellings. You know, one thing you learn in the Kathara, biospiritual healing, it teaches you about sound and frequency. Christos avatars. But let me keep that thought. Christos frequencies. We also have, thank you very much, G-Light. We also have Leo Murray, brother from Canada. Thank you, man. What's up? Much respect, Leo. Thank you for being a regular for a long, long time. So happy to have you, man. We got Indigo Wizard, Christos alignment, brother. You said it, man. What's going on? We got the crew in the house. Thank you for that support. Thank you for that exchange of energy. Bless you, man. Free White Dove. She gave out 5 gifts to 5 different members in the house. You guys, that's your sponsor. Free White Dove hooked you up. You guys, you have access to the Discord chat server. You're welcome to contact me for the link. But you also have now at least the minimum, my old time matrix diagram, not the one I'm using, but an older version. It's still very valuable. So thank you for that, and for that, thank your sponsor, our sister Holy One, for passing those out. Free White Dove, thank you so much. That's a great gift and a great intention. Thank you, sister. Bless you for supporting this work. Wow, we got another. Wait, first let me go in order here. Inlanton, thank you for sharing your great knowledge, Anahazi. Machiwa, brother. Woohoo! Powerful numbers I'm seeing. 1111. 999. Machiwa. Awesome, Inlanton. Thank you for sharing your great knowledge, Anahazi. Yeah, thank you so much, brother. Now we're seeing you on a regular. It's so happy to have you here with us. We're all walking this path, and it's a great honor to be walking it with you. Thank you again. Machua. G-Light again. Same transmission. Omnichrystus love. Woohoo! Teachings for life. What's up, sister? I said it right? It's the second time? Yeah. Well, I already said it, but she already also passed out the memberships. Machua. Thank you, G-Light, and thank you for being a member for 6 months, sister. Thank you for being here, holding space with us. That's what we're talking about. What's up? Celine, some more 999 triple trinity visualization, concentration, frequency codes. What's up? Thank you for those symbol codes. Thank you for that love, that core. Yeah. Much gratitude. Thank you, Celine. I love you, man. Thank you for being here with us. Also, thank you for being a moderator. Also been a member for over a year. Machiwa. This is awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on Christ consciousness topic tonight. We're just, let me move into my notes that I have here. I try to be organized. Because I can't really, like a speaker speaks, you've got some notes to remind him. So we got, it's been like a long journey even to my own self. When you look back at what you went through in your life, your way towards to discovering your inner Christos, discovering that you're not a guilty, horrible sinner, that you're actually connected to the divine, you're connected to God, you're not separate from God, you never were, it's impossible to be separate from God. All of that deprogramming, okay, to go through that in my life. And I see some people who are writing comments to me. They're going through some of that. I can relate, brothers and sisters out there who are reclaiming themselves, finding out that I'm not, limited to going to some phantom matrix. I don't have to be subservient in this low-level blind worship, giving my energy to some other entity. That's not how Creator works. That's not the Christ consciousness. That's not unity. That's a distortion of that. That's a vampirism of that. That's a crucifixion of the Christ consciousness. So the true meaning of Christ consciousness isn't a religious concept or a title given to man named Jesus. Okay, from the Emerald Order perspective, it refers to a living frequency, eternal, a unified consciousness of Source God, embodied through the Christic 12-strand DNA template. So scientists have found dormant strands in our DNA. What are they? They say it's junk. They even call it junk DNA. Don't believe me? Search Google. What is junk DNA? Let me see what Google says. What is junk DNA? Genomic DNA that does not encode proteins and whose function if it has a function, is not well understood. And of course the scientists will say, oh, yeah, there's going to be some more distortions on that, but some sources say 97% is dormant. Some will say 98% is dormant. You can see it's a really high level though. I mean, almost most of our DNA, the scientists admit themselves that it's not understood. It seems to have no function. The Guardians are reminding us, oh, it definitely has a function. This is your Christ consciousness inside you already right now. And you go on a spiritual journey, you start to meditate, do breath work, go on a strict diet, because we're being attacked by our food. That's why you got to go on a strict diet. Yeah, you go on a change, a transformation. You do shadow work, do ego work. You know, you do ego work because a lot of people are stuck in their ego, stuck in the, which is a perception of yourself that wants to take over, and then it becomes about the ego. It comes about the one part of yourself instead of the the whole family of yourself, the plural collective of consciousness that is yourself. So, let me see. Yeah, just checking on chat. Let me refresh the screen because it's still back on the diagram I was just showing you 52 minutes ago. Like the video was showing me something that I was talking about a long time ago. That's what I mean. Definitely got to stay hydrated. Machiwa. Christ consciousness. It's the true nature of all beings, not just some, not just a chosen, not just believers only. Because you see how horrible of a distortion that is in, for example, religion. That, oh, this is, you're not this 12-strand entity being. Oh, by the way, you're separate from God because you were born into sin. You talk about disempowerment. That's a huge disempowerment for, if you look online, over 1 billion, almost 2 billion humans are Christians who are disempowering themselves, who are subservient, who are doing, they got a blood ritual sacrifice in their consciousness. Their alignment with this doctrines and dark teachings are actually putting you in this phantom connection. Death, they call it Metatronic death. You're into this vampiric, this anti-God. You're worshiping, you think you're worshiping God, you're actually worshiping the Antichrist, Antichristos. That's who created Christianity, not created, that's what evolved, changed into. Because we had original teachings. It talks about the 12 spiritual systems that once upon a time existed in the collective. But those got changed, and then the Roman Empire got involved. Now it became some dogma. Now it became, well, that wasn't the Roman Empire. It was the beings, alien beings, running the Roman Empire. Constantine, Roman emperors. There was a couple of Roman emperors in that did the, like, I'll even show it to you in the book. But there's 2 Roman empires who started having the book changed. The original teachings changed thousands of years ago. Here we are in 2025. You don't see any of that. You don't see any changes in the Bible because it was a long, long time ago. Beyond your great-grandpa's great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grand generations, way long time ago, you don't have any recollection of any changes made to those manuscripts. Now it's Metatronic false creeds. Now it's negative. Now it's angry. Now it's about fear. It's fear-based dogma. And that's what it got turned into. So it's a natural part of beings originally seated with the eternal creation. Not just humans, but all races aligned to the law of one who have awakened themselves to that level. Anyone can. It's not for special people. It's for any being. This frequency operates, the Christ consciousness frequency. It operates through organic unity, eternal life structures, and internal source connection, source God. All humans have this direct vertical connection to source, and you're being told by religion, no, you're separate from God. And you got to accept the blood ritual sacrifice, crucifixion, torture, agony, black magic, right? In order to be connected to God. That's horrible. Absolutely disgusting. Dark, twisted, disempowering. This is the original divine blueprint, template that humanity once held on Torah, no less. Before it was fragmented by distortions, genetic manipulation, and planetary grid corruption. And yes, a lot of our problems, including our health, including our aging and sicknesses, are because the planet also has been targeted, manipulated, twisted. Like they're using technologies. They use the Nibirian. It's called Battlestar Nibiru. And they use this Nibiru thing, this Battlestar thing. It's called Battlestar. And to actually reverse 2/3 of Earth's consciousness. That's a majority of distortion on life. All life. You're on planet Earth, it got just twisted, distorted. Everything on Earth is twisted and distorted. As a matter of fact, if you're a visiting indigo child, you come into a field of 2/3 distortion on the planet. That's what you have working against you. So that's what we're saying here. This original consciousness was fragmented by these distortions. Christos equals direct source embodiment through the 12-strand diamond sun template. It connects you to 12 dimensions of consciousness, 12 dimensions of identity. It transcends race, religion, culture, and time. It's a frequency, not a figure. I mean, bless Jesus, this Jesus, that Jesus of the Bible, but this is not the original. This is a distortion which is intentional. It's an intentional distortion. Now you're following those the fragmented distortions, the genetic manipulations within the planetary grid corruption. And that's what you're putting yourself into with your free will. Aligning yourself with the angel of death. Aligning yourself with events, horrible events like the Passover. Aligning yourself with this angry war god who tears open pregnant women and shreds little children to pieces It's in the Bible. The Bible is supporting racism. Not racism, slavery. It puts down the female, which I made a video about today. How religion, not just Christianity, but many religions, even Hinduism, all these different things that you think are blessed are actually still putting down divine feminine. The Christos consciousness is the 12-strand DNA blueprint that we reclaim from the dormant potential. It has a purpose. The scientists say it doesn't. It has a very, very important part of your journey. Of course, they're going to call it junk. Now you don't think about it. Now it's not part of your, focus because it's not important. Because the scientists say it's not important. Every angelic human was originally seeded with a 12-strand DNA template designed to activate over time through a natural spiritual evolution. These strands are not just junk, as modern science claims. Each strand correlates to a dimensional consciousness band. Remember, 12 levels I showed you on the screen earlier on my time matrix diagram. By the way, that's another way you guys can support this channel. So one of my moderators, please provide the link to my diagram. Each strand correlates to a dimensional consciousness band with full activation. If you go through this activation process, it restores your access to the full time matrix, dimensions 1 through 12, and beyond. The Christos avatar, this is why it's so valuable, so important, Christ consciousness, the Christos avatar identity. That's why I named my channel it. Not saying I'm a Christos avatar. All of us are representing what the human's genome really is. 12 diamond sun. I showed you the DNA. 7 Earth seed races and 5 star seed races in your dormant, sleeping DNA. Every angelic human was originally seeded with the 12-strand DNA template designed to activate over time through natural spiritual evolution. These strands are not just junk. Okay, I think I read that part already. So the Christos avatar is a being, that's you and me, holy ones, who was progressively activating these DNA strands, reclaiming their identity here in density 1, up to density 4, density 1 to density 4. All those are part of our present, our past, our future selves. Every lifetime is a piece of that, a piece of that, a piece of that. I'll show you quickly again on the diagram. A piece of that, a piece of that, a piece of that. This is one lifetime. Male, female, male, female, male. You live as males and females, males and females. You keep on changing from male to female. Because 2 of them are a soulmate. 2 of them could be a twin flame. Another pair of soulmates, another pair of twin flames. You are living 12 times for strand 1. 12 times, 12 other lifetimes for strand 2. 12 other lifetimes for strand 3. 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 12 lifetimes, 12 lifetimes, 12 lifetimes, 12 lifetimes. You live 144 lifetimes just to create this Christos avatar. It's actually 12 times 12, which is, actually that's not what I meant to say. I meant it's actually equals to be, let me explain it on the time matrix. And you guys can add this together because this is how you're going to find out how it equals 1,728. Now let me see if my computer will let me see the calculator. It says it is, but I don't see it. I don't see my calculator being shown. Huh. It's not showing, so I won't do it. I'll just close it. But you guys can use a calculator right now. We're about to count these up. to equal 1,728. How is that possible? You live 144 times in density universe 1. You'll live 144 times in density universe 2, and 3, and 4, and 5. So you would take 144 times 5, but you're also doing the same exact thing on the parallel anti-particle universe side. Okay, so now you take this number times 2. But you're also going to have 144 lives in this ascended master level, 144 lives in this ascended master level. So you add that, 288. So let me do that. 144 times 5 times 2 because of parallel universe plus the 288 equals 1,728. The Guardians use numbers. There's numbers in God. It's all part of Creator. So this is why it's not just about spirituality. It's not just about science. It's about both spirit and science. Spiritual science. Numbers, calculations, equations, frequencies, codes, genders, body forms. It's all part of Creator. You get a bunch of hippies or people into New Age, that's not important. Math is not important. Yes, it is. And then you get the other side. The scientists say, the soul doesn't exist. It's all BS. No, it's not. Spiritual science. Do you think these Guardians don't know math? You're both spiritual and your science, numbers, calculations. It's all part of Creator. It's all important. So 1111 does have frequency. 333 does have power. Okay? These are codes. Numbers have meanings. And if you can have these numbers or power in numbers, you could better believe there's some type of negative numbers or negative energies, just like there's negative versions of other things in the time matrix, right? So let me check out chat. My Chihuahua holy wands. Much respect, you guys. Remember, if you guys like what I'm doing, please help out this work. Please leave a donation here on Super Chat. Much respect to all of you guys here. Hey, y'all. Hey, Crystal's Avatar. Hey, Pruda69. What's up, Holy One? Woohoo! Good to see you, brother. Another 111, Celine. Thank you for that. I claim that. Etheric Prisms, 12 and 12. You said it. And that number is powerful. Because we know the divine number is 12. It even talks about a base 12 system. What we fell off of. We're not on a base 12. We're on a base 10, aren't we? Right? It's all based on 10s here. Oh, does that even feel natural? So it's not. That's reptilian, baby. The 10th dimension is 10s, is this frequency. But we're Christos avatars. We're 12th dimensional. We're about the divine number 12. There's 12 strands in your DNA. There's 12 substrands in each strand. There's 12 tribes in our DNA. 12. There's something important about that number. My Chihuahua. This is why when you see Asha go to 7s, what's that? Just saying. Good to see Crystal Cat 777. Yeah, we all have our ideas about numbers. Thank you, Celine, for sharing my diagram. Woohoo! Yeah, you guys. So let me continue on with my notes here. So happy to see you guys in the house. Keeping it real. But throughout history, fallen angelic races, we talk a lot about them here, interfered with the human genome. They introduced genetic distortions, negative hybridizations. Remember, they came in and started making their own hybrids here with our DNA without our permission. They made the Dracos race, that's part human, part reptilian. They have made the Anunnaki hybrid, that's part Anunnaki, part human, called the Nephilim. It's some of these Nephilim that indigo children are trying to heal now. So that's one of the things they brought in, their hybrids and their frequency fences that block natural strand activation in our DNA. There's some of the DNA blocks talked about in the Voyager's books. And we'll look at some of those. We'll look at the actual references in the book on the screen for you guys. Your DNA equals a spiritual antenna connected to a multidimensional consciousness. Without that antenna, without that activated DNA, where's your antenna? It's cut off. It's limited. Your spiritual Wi-Fi is where's my internet connection? Where's my galactic connection? Universal connection? Right? Well, reclaim it. You have all kinds of technologies in, for example, Cathara, in the Sliders workshops, in the different, there's different workshops throughout the at least 8-10 years of series of workshops that teach you all of these advanced techniques. And we're using light, color, sound, symbol codes, base codes of matter. You understand what particle are. You understand the time matrix. You know, this is why I made videos about the time matrix. That's why Ashiana makes workshops on that. So you can understand these levels of God, which is levels of you, levels of your identity and spirit and body matter. So my question is, have you guys started studying either the books to start with? That's the kindergarten stuff. Not if you're new, it's hard to understand at first, but I'm saying you got to get through the beginner stuff and start learning the advanced stuff like Cathara. That's the minimum. Because Ashiana, the Guardian translator, she went up like this. So it goes from basics to more advanced, to super advanced, hyper advanced. So you can't go to the advanced and understand a jack shit. You got to go from the beginning and work your way up. So my question is, have you started that process? Go through Cathara. Go through Cathara 2, Cathara 3, Cathara 4, Dance for Life shop, Dance for Love, Dance for Joy workshop. Start some of the early slider workshops. There's some other many different workshops. I tell you guys, go to Crystal Symbiosis. I'll have Indigo Wizard, or maybe my other moderators know that link by now. There's no excuse. There's no paywall to my channel. We're giving you the links to all the material. All the material is out there on the internet. It's on Google, it's on YouTube, or check Telegram, because they can't censor some of these platforms like Telegram. They can't censor BitChute. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, major platforms that have major censorship. So that's why we continuously, there's no paywall. We give you all possibilities to get it all for free. If you want to go to Ashiana's site, go ahead. That's not Ashiana anymore. That's Yasha. She's teaching something different. And you have discernment. We have resonance. Even Crystal Symbiosis doesn't go that route. Tantrihura route. I don't go to Tantrihura. Just saying. But just realize that it's going to take you a while to go through the stages, man. You right? Time. How much time do you have if they're talking about World War III? Is this your last incarnation? Because we live at least 12 lives in this density 1, but the greater family is 144, because the truth is you have 12 souls. Each soul projects 12 incarnates. So that's 12 times 12. That's where the 144 lives come in. Let me show you a different diagram on Photoshop. See, you have 12 souls, but here's just one soul in density universe 2 in Tara, dimensions 4, 5, and 6. One soul projects 12 fragments, pieces of itself. So all of these are the consciousness of one soul. But the truth is you have 12 souls doing the same thing. This is why you actually have in your greater identity in density universe 1, 144 incarnations. But before you start remembering some of those other lives, this is your main immediate family. Not talking about your cousins, but and second cousins, but your brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts and parents. Your immediate family. This is your immediate family. But just realize there's actually 144 of you in density 1. This is a blow up of this small part. I took density 1 and density 2, Tara and Earth, and put it on this diagram, blown up, and you'll see incarnate identities. And this is all related to tonight's topic, 12 of you, 12 dimension, Christos avatar, 144, 1,728. 12 of your soul identities from density universe 2, each, this is what I just stated, each create 12 simultaneous incarnates in density universe 1. 2 in each of the 6 time continuums. See, this 3 dimensions, each dimension has 2 time continuums. See, one time continuum is 4,426 years. And this is all based on 12s, by the way. 12, 12, 12, 12. It's all 12, divine number. So 4426 is one time continuum, but notice 2 of those time continuums make up a dimension. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. So that's what that was saying, that you're going to have in each of the 6 time continuums. That's why I made this diagram. See, some of them are in here. See, there's some in this time continuum, some in this time continuum, some in this time continuum. This is why you were in Atlantis. You're simultaneously existing in Lemuria. You're simultaneously existing in different history lines, timelines. Simultaneous. This is all simultaneous. Incarnates in DU1, density universe 1, 2 in each of the 6 time continuums. A female and a male, twin flames, does not necessarily imply a romantic soul involvement, but can. A singular incarnate matrix is called a torrent. I think I put that on the big diagram. One single, one of these is called a torrent. So 12 torrents make up a soul level consciousness. So this soul, they're called Doras, I believe. Let me check. Dora. So 1 Dora equals 12 torrents. And then also, you know, this goes up the time matrix. You have 12 oversouls. Those are called Teras. It's hard to pronounce Teras. And then this is called Maharas. The avatars are called Maharas. One Mahara, you know, there's a family of 12. It goes 12, 12, 12. This is why you live 144 times in every single time matrix. And that's what makes up your Christos avatar, baby. Well, there's some up here too, but most of it is in your avatar level. Christos gangstas, Christos consciousness, spiritual badasses. Part of that is parallel. Your parallel badasses, your parallel avatars, your parallel oversouls and souls and incarnates. So yeah, that's what I was trying to show you in that. Well, I didn't finish. Yeah, so 12, and this is the thing about gender. You're going to live sometimes as equal amount of times because two of them put together make a whole being. This is a part of a being. This is part of your DNA template of female. The other half is the male part. Electromagnetic. That's why girls are pretty, because they magnetize you. This is why men are direct and energetic, because they're the other part of you. So you're actually electromagnetic. Both of us have both, but females have mostly magnetic, males have mostly electric. You're representing a half of your DNA template. This is why you have incentive to find your soulmate or your twin flame, because you're going to be much more powerful if you do. I've heard Ashiana say that your field is up to 2.5 times greater than just being alone. So that's definitely incentive, right? So you'll have 144 incarnates in Density Universe 1. Dreams represent portions of thoughts and experience that is taking place in both higher future and lower past time dimensional time continuum, entering into the present moment station of awareness. Let's say you're this Taran. Anything in the past can be showing up in your dream. And anything in the future Tarans or future Doras or future Terras, they can be in your dreams. And this you're stationed right here, for example. So your identity is amazing. And religion wants to cripple that and say you're separate from God and that, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different ballgame. And I thought you would appreciate that. Machiwa. Christos avatars. Give me 5 holy ones. Much respect to all of you. Awakening thyself. Know thyself. You're male, you're female, you're androgynous, you're incarnates, your souls, angels, your archangels, your avatars in the time matrix. But beyond, there's even more. 6 more levels, dimensional levels beyond. Chicas. Parte. And it's not about ego to claim that stuff. You don't behave ego. You don't speak like ego. You know what I'm saying? That's not, that means that's a sign that you haven't gotten it yet. If you're acting like a spiritual snob, right? But yeah, some chicas. Yeah, they talk about that in Kathara. And it's important to do it the right way. And Ashiana talks about the distortions in Reiki and how they're actually passing on. Reiki, traditional Reiki, is passing along reptilian codes. Reiki is a reptilian healing system. Of course it was given to humans, so now humans can pass on this detrimental code to everyone they put hands-on healing with, including themselves. You guys are using symbol codes, right, in Reiki? Guess whose symbol codes those are? Certainly not guardian codes. Ashiana talks about how you can learn Kathara and take Kathara and make a Kathara Reiki version. And so if you're big into Reiki, I recommend that you learn Kathara real quick, so you're not passing on reptilian code, baby. What's up? There's a lot of false light. That means there's false healing systems. That means there's false guardian groups, like Galactic Fed, like Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, like Thoth. These are false guardian beings, giving you false healing systems, false ascension symptoms. I don't mean the symptoms. Teachings. False healing teachings, false ascension teachings, techniques that don't awaken you, evolve you, do the opposite, block you. So you got to imagine that. Let's say you get caught up in that. Well, you're this guardian who's trying to do the best to awaken, but you're getting caught up in distortion. So some of that's going to be good in truth. Some of it's going to be distortion. You're fighting against yourself because of the distortions, because of the New Age practices you brought into your life. Now, I talk about some of those. People don't like it when they hear what they've been practicing has been a distortion. Like Ricky. I'm a 5th level Reiki master. What do you know? And they say the same thing with Archangel Michael. How dare you talk about Michael? May he take his blue sword and cut you in half, baby. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's not funny, but you see, there's some distortions for a reason. There's people calling themselves chosen ones for a reason. They ain't chosen by anything, nothing guardian. There is no favoritism. There is no hierarchies, levels in the guardians. It's all equality. Everyone's God. How can you be less or worse if you're all God? You know, a part of yourself may become distorted, confused because of blocks in divine life force. You're not getting the life force. You're not on a divine blueprint anymore. You're in a distorted blueprint because you were affected by intruder races, ancient intruder races, been effing with us since, well, human seeding one. At least we back, sorry about that noise. Human seeding one, the distortion started in the Luciferian covenant. It started back in 50,000 years. Okay? There's also a human seeding 2 where we were destroyed. Human seeding 1, we were destroyed. One was by Nephilim, Anunnaki. The other was by Draconian forces. This is human seeding 3. This is our 3rd time around. So, we were meant to progressively activate these DNA strands through your journey. And the Emerald Order teachings, they're teaching you how to bring in the higher chakras, which New Age, wow, what a coincidence, doesn't even talk about. That you go online, chakras, look at the images and Google image search. There's 7. 7. What the F is that when we know there's 15 dimensions, 15 chakras? The human DNA has 12 of those. So at least 12, and they're only giving you 7. They stop at the crown. That's the 7th chakra in their system. The Guardians talk about 8. Gold chakra. 9. The diagonal chakra called this is the thymus chakra. There's the diagonal one is the thalamus. There's one above your head. These are morphogenetic chakras. 6 inches above your head is the galactic one. 1.5 feet. Okay, it's about 12 inches, right? 1.5 feet. So 1.5 feet above your head is dark silver chakra, galactic 2 chakra. And then the 6 inches below your feet, 6 inches below your feet is the 12th dimensional chakra. Let me show you guys that in the diagram. A colored diagram. I'll also give you a link to this diagram. Maybe one of my moderators have it somewhere in their notes where it's located. Let me put that, let me find it and share that with you guys. Because remember, there's no paywall here. We share freaking everything. Okay, Christos avatar. And my membership area is for people who want to support me and this work that I do. That's what the membership area is for. There's different levels of that. Don't forget, you guys, we have a Probably 2 weeks from now, we're gonna be interviewing Tom Althaus, the writer, the creator of the original Matrix screenplay. I think it's called Chakras or 15. 15? Yeah, 15 chakras, baby. So while I'm talking about it, I want to put that in chat, which is an excellent diagram. There's the diagram. Now let me bring it up myself, because I need it on my computer to show you on my computer. 1 second here. This would be under Files, Christos Avatar, and do I have it in here? Do I have it? 15, 15, 12, 15 chakras. Okay, here we go. So now I can share with you the PDF. Thank you for your patience. I was mentioning those measurements. Okay? This is your actually aura is huge. Your aura is, you can understand the higher auras are actually miles away, galaxies away, universes away. Like the 15th chakra, by the time you get to your 15th aura, it is universal size. So those are collective chakras, man. Not just individual chakras. Now you have a unified consciousness with other beings. This is a higher, greater awareness, a higher, greater identity. But most systems start with the butt chakra. You know, it's near your anus. This is near your sacral, your groin area. This one's going this direction. This one's going horizontal. Most of them are horizontal. This is the ego, solar plexus chakra, above your navel. Those are no normal chakra by your navel. This is the groin, butt, ego. This is the heart chakra. This is the throat chakra, and then the indigo chakra, and then the crown chakra. This is where they stop in New Age. This is where you're not getting all of these. Shit, I can't scroll over. I got to use this bar. You're not getting the rest of your identity, the rest of your awareness, when they don't even talk about it. I told you above your head, 6 inches above your head, is the 10th chakra. Let me get the name of it. 6 is, no. Galactic 1. 10. The 10th chakra above your head, 6 inches above your head, the galactic 1. The one that's 1.5 feet above your head is galactic 2. The one below your feet, the Christos ray, the Christ star, this is called the Earth star. Wait, did I lose my place? There's the Earth star below your feet, and the one in the middle of the planet is the Earth core. So you got Earth star, Earth core, universe 1, universal 2. So just your 13th chakra, man, it includes the entire planet. All of our 13th chakra includes the whole Earth. You're part of that. We're all part of that. You connect to that part of yourself, which is above the Christ ray. See these chakras? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Crown, thymus chakra, thalamus chakra, darn it, I wasn't trying to do that. Sorry. Galactic 1, 6 inches above your head. Galactic 2, those are connections. Their guardians call chakras Templar. Templar, gateways, stargates to other worlds, other timelines. So when you open these higher chakra up, you're opening up your connections to those levels of understanding and comprehension and memory and awareness and intelligence. So this is why the Guardian teachings teach you how to open the highest chakras. They don't even really start with lower chakras, because the whole concept is, let's say you worked on the Christ star. I am Christ star. I am Christ star. This is why we say this, because it's the 12th star, and you're the Christos avatar. We all are. All humans are. So, what's within the 12th star? Well, all the other chakras, all of these are within the 12th level. Within the 11th dimension is all of these chakras. Within the 9th is all of these. You see what I'm saying? So whatever the highest one you have all connections to all the ones below it. This is why these teachings teach you how to reach this one 6 inches below your feet. You go back to that. We start you off with the 12th chakra. 6 inches below your feet. MC12, baby. M stands for morphogenetic chakra. The ones outside your body are called morphogenetic chakra. MC thymus, that's by your collarbone. This is crosses your third eye. You see, you guys, look how many chakras cross the third eye. Here's your third eye chakra, 6. But the 9th one goes through the thalamus brain and through the third eye, pineal. Okay? And also this 8th one does. It goes through here too, diagonal. So there's 2 diagonal chakras. And those other 2 chakras, the 9th one and the 8th one, are crossing the third eye. Excuse me. And so this is your higher identity towards your Christos avatar. Not just being limited to crown. If you limit yourself to crown, like the New Age wants you to do, you're not accessing any of this. You're not going to access your Christ star. You're not going to access your deep space chakra. You're not gonna reach your galactic level. You're not gonna reach your Earth level, your Earth core, Earth star level. You're not gonna access any of these. I mean, I remember I can't use the hand thing. I can't use the hand thing on this PDFs. This is the aura, which are called Partakai fields. New Age calls it aura. You got emotional body aura, a mental body aura, because of this chakra and this chakra. Here's the first one. See, it's really close to your body. That's the root chakra, the butt chakra. See, it's near your butt. This is the one that's going around your body. It's very close to your body. But this isn't it's not to scale, because eventually it goes way beyond this diagram page. You can't see the higher chakras, but we're showing it to you in a diagram so you know that they exist, that you have them. But you have the heart, the astral body, the archetype body, angelic body. You see, this is in my diagram. Look, catheric, monadic, karyatic, Christic, Buddhic, nirvanic. Sorry. Wait, why is it not showing my Photoshop? It's supposed to be showing Photoshop. Now it is, okay. Astral, archetype, celestial. I have it on the diagram. Catheric, monadic, karyatic, Christic, Buddhic, nirvanic. So these are levels of identity, levels of our body, levels of the Christos avatar. And it's all available to us. And if you stick to New Age, you're only going here. You're not getting the rest. And then there's some distorted systems that say there's more than 12 chakra. No, there's not. Some will say there's hundreds of chakra. I'm calling bullshit right now. This is coming from the Emerald Order. This is coming from the original Guardian teachings. This is part of the actual time matrix architecture, energy, consciousness. And so blessings to all of you, and hopefully this is something that's going to empower you, because there's much more to learn besides the crown. Okay, you keep going, you keep going, keep going. Learn about the thymus. This is the throat, so it's not the same one. See? It's not the heart. This is the heart, throat, third eye, crown. Then thymus, gold chakra right here. The one that was going diagonal, that's the 9th chakra, the thalamus chakra. Galactic 1. Galactic 2. Below your feet, Earth star. In the middle of the earth, right? Did I say it right? The terms, I gotta keep reminding myself. Earth core. The one in the Earth core, Galactic 1, or there's a Galactic 1, Galactic 2, Universal 1, Universal 2. So those are important. You don't just forget about them, because that's how you claim your inner Christos, by knowing these parts of your anatomy, not just doing chakra work on the first 7, but doing chakra work on the higher ones. See, the Guardian teachings show you how to bring in the higher ones, because the higher ones include the lower ones. Does that make sense? I showed you how. That's why you look at the spherical model, because they're within each other. The 11th dimension is within the 12th Christ star level. The 10th is within the 11th. The 9th is within the 10th. The 8th is within the 9th. The 7th is within the 8th. You keep on going, see? So you want to get the higher chakras activated. And what do you think the Maharic seal is? Focusing on the 12th chakra and the 11th chakra. Bringing in the other lower chakras. So if you spend a lot more time on the higher chakras, you're going to be bringing in your Christos avatar. You don't just make up your own techniques. You want to learn some of these advanced Cathara techniques. Learn the advanced MCEO video workshop series. And we told you, go to Christic Symbiosis, and they have a ton of the videos. Probably most of them. That's one of the biggest depositories I've seen, who's got the most videos. So there's no excuse. You guys start from the beginning, because don't go to some advanced workshop. You're going to be like, it's not going to help you. You want to start with Cathara. So you can start with Voyagers. That's mostly about our drama on Earth and the fallen angels and the history line. If that's interest you, of course, learn it. But if you want to actually learn mechanics and techniques, you got to start with Cathara. Because Ashiana doesn't go back to the basics. She keeps on going to advance. And this was on purpose through time. In the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the teen years, we were going in progression. Some people were going along with it. I wasn't. I came in later. I had to go back and learn the basics and develop myself. You guys have to do the same thing. You got to learn the basics and learn. This is the most advanced ascension teachings on the planet, bar none. Nothing comes close. Chihuahua. Indigo Wizard, Karayasata Allah and Karasata Allah. Yeah, both have a purpose, not enough room to explain here. Yeah, and people who are interested, ask Indigo Wizard, and he'll send you a link to it, right? That's how we help each other. What's up? Stardust Goddess, sister, woohoo! Okay, so one of the most dangerous distortions in both religions and the New Age is the idea of some type of external saviors. The original teachings of the inner Christos have been twisted into Messiah programming, encouraging people to outsource their power to external gods, beings, saints, angels, self-proclaimed archangels, ascended masters. You're outsourcing your power. You're feeding these entities. True Christ consciousness is about embodying source within you. This is why these teachings call it the inner Christos. You're acknowledging your inner connection to God. You don't need anything outsourced. You don't need to go to some other source. You are the source. But people are programmed to train to follow someone else. You don't need to follow someone else. It's all in here. And the teachings are just trying to get you to go back within and stop looking at these outsourced things. This is why it's a trick. These groups and teachings are trying to get you into the galactic Fed, trying to get you into worshiping an archangel, worshiping a saint. People put little statues and worship them. I mean, bless you if that's your truth, but that's a distortion. And these teachings expose that. How it's disempowering you. How you can reclaim, and also how you can reclaim your power back by stop or outsourcing spirit. Stop outsourcing your potential. What you're doing is feeding these false light systems, which are fallen angelic systems. People will think that's impossible. No, I'm not connected to some phantom consciousness. But that's exactly what's happening. This is exactly what's happening with channeling. And I was involved when I had no knowledge of the Christos, inner Christos. I didn't know I had that potential inside. I was outsourcing then. So I can relate to people who are still channeling. But that's a phantom practice. And I haven't covered it yet, but surely Ashana covers it, that there's all kinds of technologies on planet Earth. This whole, what's it called? Stonehenge. It's a perfect example. It's part of a greater technology called the dyadic crystal grid. Dyadic, I forgot how the whole word, it's like 4 words, but Nibirian dyadic crystal grid. And so there's that word, Nibiru, the fallen angel planet Nibiru, where all the fallen races live on. Enki, Enlil, Marduk, Pleiadian, Luciferian, all the Luciferian groups, are some of them, not all of them, are coming from that planet. And they're the ones that put the Nibirian dyadic crystal grid. They're the ones channeling people on Earth. But people that are worshiping Archangel Michael, they don't believe that. Yes, that's the truth. Technology. These beings are using technology and psychic powers to connect to you. Channeling. Oh yeah, you're channeling all right. You're channeling these phantom beings. Guardians don't channel. We have the inner Christos. There's no need to channel. If you channel anything, it's your own self, your own higher selves, plural. Remember, your identity is 1,728 selves. We channel. We don't call it channeling though. It's like inner telepathy, inner connection, inner dialogue to yourself. Not some other family of consciousness like Bashar is doing. He admits it himself. He says it in interviews himself. It's not him, not his higher self. You will hear it come out of Daryl's own mouth. No, I am channeling some other entity, and his name is Bashar. We don't do that in the inner Christos. You're trying to reclaim your Christos avatar? You don't outsource, baby. You go inside. And these teachings remind you how to do that. Machiwa. Let me check. The inner Christos frequency, it's a tri-wave frequency, Manu, Mana, Ire, flows through the heart center when aligned to Source God. This is your direct plug in the eternal creation. And it's only accessible through self-sovereignty, which is one of the 12 attitudes of mastery. That's why we say, I am God, I am sovereign, self-sovereign. This is why you have these false gods, ET gods, saying they're the sovereign being and you must worship us. worship a false ET God. This is what is Yahweh, a false ET God that happens to be, ET Yahweh happens to be angry and happens to destroy, happens to go to war. This ET God murders kids, tears them apart, rips open pregnant women. This is God? No, it's not. It's a false God, false light, Metatronic death science. Chihuahua, transmute. False ascension equals outward worship and savior projection. Again, I'll say it again. False ascension, which many people are following, is outward worshiping. When you're supposed to be going in, they're going outward. And savior protection. Oh, Galactic Fed is going to protect you. We don't need no Galactic Federation to protect or help or what do you call it? Guide the human race. This is what they're doing. This is what they're telling your channelers. Work with the Galactic Federation. We're here to help humanity. We don't need no freaking angels, alien beings, or councils to guide us. It sounds good, but it's not. Sovereignty. Sovereign. Be sovereign. True ascension equals reclaiming your eternal identity from within, not without. And there's distortions of Christ consciousness all over the place. Many systems that speak of Christ consciousness today are rooted in Metatronic distortions. Reverse engineered teachings by fallen angels who hijacked the original meaning of Christos, of Christ consciousness. Oh, you see New Agers using this word and they have no idea what is Christ consciousness. It's a level of multidimensional consciousness, not some figure, not some other twisted concept. This is why I broke it down, showed you diagrams, and explained it from a spiritual science point of view. And it's certainly not some figure. It's a level of your own self. These, they promote false light. These New Age teachings, the false light systems, they promote ego inflation. They also would distort sacred geometries like Metatron's cube under the guise of love and light. Oh, love and light. No, it's not love and light. This is a whole different fake system. These false systems often bypass the inner work required for true ascension. You guys, ascension takes work. You can't steal it. You can't borrow it. Some alien being can't give it to you. Some self-proclaimed Archangel Michael can't give you Christ consciousness. Some saint that you're worshiping and idolizing can't give you Christ consciousness. A false savior, Messiah, matrix cannot give you Christ consciousness. You give it. You reclaim it. You reclaim it within your own self. You reclaim your own direct vertical connection to self God, source God. Everyone has it. Not believers only, not some type of, this is my hairs here, believers only or chosen ones only, even religion through the crucifixion narrative, unfortunately. Black magic, right? Through the crucifixion narrative, weaponized Christ consciousness, did they not? Into a trauma bonding ritual, glorifying suffering and sacrifice instead of divine embodiment. What do you see in churches? A crucified Jesus with blood coming down from the thorns on his head. They are glorifying this. That's why it's trauma bonding. Glorifying this suffering. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. BS. That is glorifying the suffering and sacrifice and death. It's a death science that you're giving yourself to, aligning yourself with. In New Age, Christ consciousness is sometimes diluted into feel-good affirmations or superficial ascension language. without understanding any of the spiritual mechanics or the biological templates involved, which the guardians go into great detail into the spiritual science of your awakening. You're not going to learn this advanced teachings in New Age. They're all about looking for some galactic Fed or Archangel Michael to give it to you. Looking something out in the matrix for them. So instead of inside. Because this is why they say you're horrible and terrible. Humans are terrible. Why would we go inside ourselves if we're horrible? Why would we want to go inside ourselves if there's something broken in us? Something is wrong with us. You see, they demonize what we are. So we now looking somewhere else for some grace, some saving, some protecting. You see the ploy, you see the trick. Oh, you're not a guilty sinner. You're a 12-strand diamond sun, Christos avatar, baby. And never forget that. Reclaim that, because it's right inside. No savior required, no archangel required, no galactic Fed required. Ask. Does this teaching, empower you to connect to Source directly? Or does it redirect your energy to something else? Because that's what this New Age is doing. You're learning divination. You're learning astrology and planets and stars. Maybe I'll find something in my birth chart. Maybe I'll do some tarot cards and find out who I am. Maybe, just maybe, I will find it in some candle magic. Maybe I'll find power and my true self in one of these fallen angelic systems, homies. You don't need no divination. You don't need no card system, no solar system or astrology system. You only need yourself and your direct inner connection to God. Nothing else. Machiwa. So ask yourself that question. Discernment is key. Christos is not a trend or a vibe. It's sacred architecture, baby. What's up? I don't know about you, 111. There's another 111. Did you see it? Woo! Party time, baby. What's up? What's up, homies? Ascension mechanics and the time matrix. Ascension is not floating up in the clouds or leaving Earth behind. It's about reclaiming your multi-dimensional embodiment within the 15-dimensional time matrix. The Emerald Order teaches that this matrix was created as a holographic field of experience. You learn about the hologram of matter, where consciousness can evolve through densities and dimensions. This is why we teach you the spiritual science of this. Christ consciousness activates as you progressively heal distortions, merge with your higher identity aspects. That's why you're learning the higher chakra, the higher Templar of yourself, and anchor eternal light through your DNA and light body. Many ascension teachings bypass this system entirely, right? You're too busy looking out here. Offering, shortcuts, or there's no shortcuts, baby, or offering, external activation promises. But authentic Christic ascension is internal, gradual, and aligned with natural laws, like the law of one. Okay? It's not fast food. It doesn't happen overnight. And that's what people want and expect. But that's not happening, baby. It's hard work. It takes time. So you better start. There are no shortcuts to Christos embodiment. Only frequency mastery. False ascension pulls you into external matrices. Real ascension reconnects you to Source via your own blueprint. And that's what these teachings are all about, brothers and sisters. And some of you get that. You're learning about all of the distortions within you. You have every intention or desire to heal those old thoughts and beliefs. Your brother Inuhazi, I had to go through that process. I had to realize that, oh damn, I'm suffering. I thought I was enlightened. What's happening? Why is, and then you start getting angry at God, or you go through this blame game. Oh, it's their fault, or it's because this person I'm suffering, or it's because, the government's fault, or it's the New World Order's fault, or it's something other than yourself. It takes a brutal honesty. Realizing that, I had to realize I was freaking channeling dark beings. And I was just, when I look back to those days, I was thinking, wow, I have these abilities. I didn't know about these abilities. And it's like, I want to explore it. Wow, there's beings out here actually connecting to me. This is the reaction. But you have no idea what you're actually effing up. You're effing up your consciousness. You're now getting led into these false systems, Metatronic systems, feeding the phantom. You're making the dark side stronger. They will target star seeds and indigos because of your light body, because of your connections, because of your 12-strand DNA template. They want that to serve them, serve their systems, serve their agendas. This is why you're being guided to think you are a chosen one. It isn't Creator who chose you. It is fallen angelic false light systems calling you a chosen one. Now you're a chosen one. Now you're going to follow all of these programs in the New Age and get entangled in the wrong intention that you originally wanted and not know any better. See, it was my suffering in my health, my emotions. Man, I was so full of anger. Not at other people, mostly about myself. I had a tantrum. A temper. I had a temper. I would hit things, hit the freaking wall. I had a problem. And so I was channeling, and I had a shit diet, and I was like thinking I was better than other people. And I was going to do magic battles with other people. They were sending me curses. I was going to send something to them. I got into the Enochian magic. Dark, dark shit, man. Not angels, not guardian beings that you're connecting to. The Golden Dawn bullshit, that's all fallen angelic systems. The occult is twisted, or Gnosticism. You think you're learning this brilliance. I am learning all this power, and I'm becoming a greater being, when you have no idea. I had no idea until I was suffering, and I had to wake up. And then I saw this interview with Carrie Cassidy with Ashiana Dean. And I learned about the guardian innerchristos. Innerchristos. The most powerful word you can learn. Inner God. Inner Christ. Inside. Not some magical rituals. Not some freaking saviors or saints or archangels or galactic councils. Inside, you will find God. Machiwa. You could say that because of the drama playing out, fallen angelic activity, these intruder races, ancient intruder races, we're in the final stages. In Voyager's 1, he calls it the final conflict. Not my words, they call it the final conflict in here. where planetary and solar alignments allow for rapid DNA. This is why some of you are awakening now, because of these alignments. This is why the ETs are here, by the way. They know these planetary and solar alignments will awaken the human race, and they don't want us to awaken. This is why they're going to feed you New Age beliefs and systems, false light systems. They got to get you to use your free will. The vampire is knocking at your door. They're not going to come in until you invite them in. Oh, come on in. Okay, I'm going to follow that New Age system. I'm going to get into divination. I'm going to read, these rune stones. They get you entangled in that shit. But it is now. This is why they do all that stuff. This is why they don't want you awakening during the awakening cycle. This is an awakening cycle. The Guardians call it a stellar activation cycle. All of the planets Templar opened. Now it's a Templar closing cycle. Okay? But it's not closed yet. It's going to take decades. So there's a huge awakening. This is why you hear me say this sometimes. It's a great time to be alive during the stellar activation cycle when a lot of people will be able to awaken. Doesn't mean they will. It just means that it's an opportune time to have the greatest changes in your spiritual awakening. Other time periods are so-so. There's not extra Templar dimensional frequencies coming in. And that's what we were talking about, the alignments. So this is a great time for rapid DNA repair and activation, but it also is a time for greater manipulation by false light systems. They will come in for sure, baby. They're coming in because they don't want you awakening. You see what I'm saying? There's natural awakening, but being diluted with a bunch of false light awakening systems. This is why it's a minefield out there. This is why you got to have discernment out there. What are you actually following? You got to check. Check it for Christ consciousness. Check it for unity consciousness. Is it taking you away from source or your own connection to source? The Christos mission is returning, you guys. This is why a lot of you higher souls are incarnating on earth right now. And many are awakening spontaneously, feeling called to truth, embodiment, and spiritual service. Service to others, not to your ego. This isn't a trend. It is your internal contract reactivating. That Emerald Covenant for life, baby. That's our covenant. That's our contract. That's why we're here, bringing the Emerald Covenant message. But you must protect your field. Maharic seal, baby. Shield your light body. And stay connected to Christic teachings that empower your inner sovereignty. Signs of true Christ consciousness awakening. Intuitive remembrance of being more than human. Not limiting your identity to only this experience. You're much, much more. And you hear me talk about feline aliens in the future incarnations. You're going to get a bunch of 3D people just can't understand that. You're more than just human. Emotional, other signs of Christos awakening. Emotional clearing. A lot of us are going through that emotional garbage, a lot of that stuff that we went through. And DNA template activation symptoms. Not all of them are comfortable. Other signs are pull towards the law of one. That keeps coming up in your hologram experience. That's because your higher selves, you need to connect to the law of one. That's a sign. And source alignment and planetary service. 2025 and beyond will divide those seeking sensation from those anchoring embodiment. And you came here to remember who you are, not follow. You're not followers. We're not following. Okay? We're here to radiate, to shine the inner Christos light. And other people will see it. Other people will feel it. And so We're supposed to be like beacons or representatives of that frequency, of that code. That's who we are. That's what we're here to share. And so those are signs to you that you are awakening. And like you heard me tell my story, how it was suffering. I was going through suffering by going into those false light systems. You guys have those kind of symptoms? That means you're caught up in these false light systems. You won't feel that way when you start healing yourself and start transmuting those old ideas and patterns and beliefs and going into a new Christos, innerchristos awakening. And bless all of you who are going through awakening. This is a powerful time, a great time to be alive because of the Stargate activating cycle. You can get the most work done now, and your soul knows that. Once those gates close in 2 decades, they will all be closed. It will be flatline extra bonus energy coming in. There won't be no bonus energy. This is a natural cycle of the planet. It happens only twice during a time, they call it a time cycle, which is 26,556 year period. And then there's 2 times that happens, ascension. Starts a new cycle. Then you have another ascension, and then another ascension, starts a new cycle. Okay? But we're at the end of the second ascension cycle, or we're in it. But there's this stellar activation. It's a smaller cycle, and it's that stellar activation cycle that is huge. Huge. This is why souls are incarnating on Earth now. They want to get here now to get the most advancement. But that also means, like I mentioned earlier, this is also the most active fallen angelic time. They don't want you awakening. They don't want us getting our 12-strand avatar. They want us to be serving them, being servants for their agendas. Thank you for those hearts. Who's doing that? My chiwa. Woohoo! You guys, I really need your help tonight. Please help me reach my goal. You can help out this work. Please support this work, you guys. If you like anything you've learned tonight, if you think this work has helped your life in any way, please support this work, you guys. Make a donation. And you can also purchase my diagram now or after the show. It's only $15. It's worth that. It's got a lot of the teachings inside that diagram. It's an excellent study tool while you're learning Voyagers and Angelic Realities, which is a smaller book. And you don't need the books. Get the PDF version. Get the online version of this. Get the online version. That's why we shared them. We gave you direct links. No paywall. That's free. That's by free will choice. If you want to help the work, become a paid member. I have some extra goodies in there, but that's just something that's mostly diagrams and stuff. So we have this diagram, and it's part of the $5 membership or the $20 membership, because the $20 one is so much better, you guys. This diagram, it taught me a lot just making it. I had to do a lot of research to make that diagram, to find all the information about the different races and Voyagers and some of the video workshops. It got compiled in there. And so please support this work, you guys. I can't do this without you. I can't pay my bills without you. Remember, I don't even have a bed. I don't have furniture. I don't have drawers. Like people put their clothes in a freaking, I don't have any of that. I've showed you a tour of my house before. So this is why I'm always asking for donations, because I need them. I work 100 hours a week for you guys. So please support this work. Help me reach my goal. And so I can continue to do this for you full time. And I appreciate you so much for being here with me tonight. I'm gonna end this live. I'm gonna start coming to the end right now. And I'll be here Saturday. So take a look at my Etsy shop if you want to purchase a crystal or one of my artworks. And that's the different ways that you can support this work. I appreciate you very much. Thank you, guys. And a shout out to all the people who are my members and who are moderators and regulars here. Thank you guys so much for the donations, that the ones that did tonight, a lot of the regulars. Much respect to all of you guys. I feel supercharged when I do these lives. I feel like it just feels so good to be able to share this knowledge. It changes lives. It changed my life. I see it changing some of you guys' your lives. It just blows my mind when I learn about these teachings. My family has no idea what's happening. They're like still in the old. It's kind of like, look at some of your people you know since high school, and they're still living the same life. They're not making changes. What? I'm like in the stratosphere compared to what I used to be. I'm having paranormal, supernatural dreams and connections and extrasensory perceptions. I'm like a different entity because we are. The ones waking are different entities. Many will not change. Many will not awaken with their own free will choice, because that is exactly what their vibration is. They're not going to awaken because they're stuck in the vibration with their own decisions in life, with their own thoughts in life. Selene, Star Sister, thank you. She says, amazing live stream tonight. Bless you, sister. And I know you just went to a birthday, right? You had fun. Thank you for that celebrative energy. Yeah, baby, what's up? Thank you, Selene. And thank you, Mr. Madism. You guys are awesome. You're making those magical numbers, 999-444. Love what you do, Anahazi, says Sir Madison. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Machiwa. I feel myself in a different space. I'm focused. I'm almost a week in to liquidarian diet. Drinking my food that hasn't been cooked, that hasn't been packaged. I'm getting bananas, strawberries, blueberries, a whole avocado, coconut milk, sprinkle some black pepper in there, sprinkle some cinnamon in there, maybe some honey if I think I would like it. Put a handful of spinach in there. Put 3 ice cubes so it's not warm. 3 ice cubes I found is perfect. Freaking awesome. I'm not snacking like I was before, because when you don't eat alkaline, you're like craving. And I don't need to smoke to go to sleep. So I am entering a new era for myself. And I encourage all of you to make those changes, because when you stop those old ways, you don't feel like like you need it anymore. You get over that hump. 2 to 3 days, you will start to not crave it. Get a week into it, you don't need that same diet anymore. Now, I'm not going to just be liquidarian, but I wanted to heal myself for 2 weeks. I want to heal myself, and then I'll go back to my alkaline electric chili. Has no meat, it's all veggies. And if you need to gain weight, if you're losing too much weight, like right now, I was 178, now I'm down to 169. And, I don't do it for that. I'm not doing it to lose weight. But it's a side effect of going on a healthy diet, which doesn't have all those extra calories. I want to get off of the fruit, though. I don't want to just go liquidarian and just do the fruits. Eventually, I got to get myself started there. Start what's the easiest. Like strawberries and blueberries and bananas and avocado is great. It tastes good. It tastes wonderful. It's not like, I don't want to eat just green stuff. Notice there's an avocado and spinach in there. Eventually, it'll be mostly like veggies, because vegetables are still a little bit acidic. I meant to say fruits. Fruits are more acidic. They're not as good for you as the healthy vegetable stuff. So anyways, you guys, thank you for joining my live tonight. Bless you and your changes that you're making in your life for your body, your emotions, your mind, and your spirit. This is a time for change. Thank you for those hearts. Who's doing that? Give me a kiss, baby. What's up? Unless you're a guy. We got this covered, you guys. You're not alone. You're not helpless. You're not disconnected from God. You're not separate. You don't need a savior Messiah. You don't need a sacrifice. You don't need blood to be shed. You don't need an archangel. You don't need some galactic Fed or galactic council or galactic anything. You just need yourself and your direct connection. You've been programmed. You've been programmed to believe you do need something between you and God. You're learning that, nope, you don't need nothing. Just yourself. Remember that law of one. You're part of the one. You're part of the all. You're the unified field. And that's not ego. That's just you realizing it within your own direct Templar. You don't need to convince nobody. You don't need to convince your parents. You don't need to convince your lover or your spouse or whatever. You don't need to convince your family or neighbors or friends. Maybe you're not aligned. They don't align. So that's their course. That's their free will choice. And you're making yours GSF. God, sovereign, free. I am Christos. Let's say that. Let's say that. I am Christos. I am Christos. I am Christos. 12th dimensional. See that pure white Merkaba field spinning. When you close your eyes, see the Merkaba, white, pure white star spinning. Man, is it freaking powerful, like a hurricane, like a tempest. It is. You're in that, baby. You're in that majesty. You're in that Chakaya Masor. You are this living Machiwa Christos. Remember thyself, holy ones. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. Excuse me. So much hype. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. And practice your 12 attitudes of mastery and 12 attitudes of responsibility. And I'll eventually make a live or a video just about that. Thank you guys for joining me. Bless all of you in your Christos awakening. That's where it's at. Right here inside. Stop thinking of yourself as horrible and terrible. You're a holy one. Bless all of you. I'll see you soon. Check out my videos I made this week. And if you need to reach me, just either email, which is in the description, you guys. Indigo Wizard was asking for my email. It's always in my description below. You can contact me on Facebook, direct message. You can contact me on Instagram, direct message. Check out, binge through my short videos, check out some of my other videos, and it'll get you a start. And start studying, you guys. We gave you the links. It's not easy work. You're going to have to study it. And if you need help, ask some questions. Thank you, guys. Namaste. Omnichristos love. Shaddai Ure Akuntan. Let me see if I can get my voice to do it. Omedai Patuma. Omedai Patuma. Patuma Edeta Ekuna. Omedai Patuma. Treti la iderna Treti lai durna durma hekem tae kumna omedai patuma. Omni Christos love. My chiwa.